Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this program entitled The Power of a Woman's Voice. This program is a collaboration of the Lake Worth Interfaith Network, St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, and the Core Ensemble. And I beg you to stay until the bitter end because we have some wonderful guest celebrities coming on, some special, famous feminists that are very dear to our hearts, and I know you won't want to miss them. Well, now we're going to go to our very special guests. We have a number of people, some of our favorite feminists are coming to visit with us this afternoon. So I'm going to ask our host to bring on the first famous feminist. And here is our first celebrity feminist, Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. We are honored to welcome her because she did so much during her long career to advance women's empowerment. Justice Ginsburg, do you have any words for us today?
Thank you, Margot, for that very fine introduction. I'm so pleased to be a part of this very important discussion today. I bring you greetings from my colleagues on the bench, the majority of whom are men, as you well know. I'd like to share with you my thoughts on change and injustice. Fight for the things that you care about and do it in a way that will lead others to join you. Real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time. Thank you.
Wise words. Thank you. Thank you, Justice Ginsburg.
You're welcome.
Our next celebrity is the great feminist icon, Rosie the Riveter. There she is. Now let me tell you about her. Rosie the Riveter was a cultural icon of World War II, representing women who worked in factories and shipyards producing war supplies. Rosie, you are a great symbol of American feminism. Thanks for being with us. Thank you, Rosie. Now, it has to be said that not all feminists are women. There are many men who support the feminist cause. Barack Obama, Justin Trudeau, Antonio Banderas, Alan Alda, Harry Belafonte, and foremost among them is the great Dalai Lama, who's with us this afternoon. Oh, Your Holiness, we are so delighted to have you with us today. The Dalai Lama has said more about women's empowerment than just about anyone. And he actually said that women are more prone to compassion than men, since they have the responsibility of bearing children. The Dalai Lama has made his feminist sympathies known in the past, and he has even speculated that his successor may be a woman. Your Holiness, thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you. Now, I'm going to bring in our next feminist icon. She's a true icon of the 60s and 70s, the very glamorous Gloria Stuart. Gloria, good afternoon. We're so thrilled that you can be with us. Gloria is an American feminist journalist and social political activist who became nationally recognized as a leader and spokeswoman for American feminist movement in the late 60s and 70s. Gloria, do you have anything to say to our audience this afternoon?
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here with all of you. Just like to say a word about feminism. Feminism has never been about getting a job for one woman. It's about making life more fair for women everywhere. It's not about a piece of the existing pie. There are too many of us for that. It's about baking a new pie. So whatever you want to do, just do it. And making a darn fool of yourself is absolutely essential.
Oh, thank you, Gloria. I love the culinary illusion. Thank you so much. Now, our next famous feminist is the great Elizabeth Cady Stanton. She was the main force behind the 1848 Seneca Falls Convention, the first convention to be called for the sole purpose of discussing women's rights. Her demand for a woman's right to vote became a central focus of the women's movement. She was also very active in the abolitionist movement. Elizabeth, we're so happy that you're here this afternoon. Do you have anything to say to us?
Thank you so much for having me today. As my dear friends, including my dearest Susan, know, I am nothing if not outspoken. And one of my best thoughts is the moment we begin to fear the opinions of others and hesitate to tell the truth that is in us, and from motives of policy are silent when we should speak, the divine floods of light and life no longer flow into our souls.
Beautiful words, beautiful thoughts. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you for being with us. Now, our next feminist icon is the great primatologist, Jane Goodall. Now, Jane is known for her 60-year study of chimpanzees. She established the Jane Goodall Institute, a global conservation organization which encourages young people around the world to participate in projects that protect the environment and wildlife. And, you know, anthropologists tell us that these charming creatures are closely related to us. In fact, we have common ancestors. And so I think it's very important to speak up for them because they can't speak for themselves. Now, that's Jane. Now, our next icon is the great Mexican artist, Frida Kahlo. And she was a true icon of feminism. She opposed the inflexibility of Mexican society, which was resistant to the emancipation of women. She constructed her own myth with the help of her strong personality and uncompromising character. Frida, are you with us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I have been reflecting on my life. And I drank to drown my sorrows. But the damn things learn to swim. At the end of the day, we can endure much more than we think we can. So I don't paint my dreams or nightmares. I paint my realities. And I paint myself because I am often alone and because I am the subject I know best. I also paint flowers so they don't die. I think that nothing is worth more than laughter. It is a strength in laugh and in abandon oneself to be light. I think that tragedy is the most ridiculous thing because nothing is absolute. Everything changes, everything moves, everything revolves, everything flies and goes away. At the end, I hope the exit is joyful, and I hope never to return.
Thank you, Frida. Thank you for being with us. Now, we have a very special guest. Our wonderful actress, Shinnery Jackson, is here, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself and Sojourner Truth. Here comes Shinnery. Shinnery, your scene was wonderful.
Thank you.
And, you know, I never get tired of watching that scene. I think you were fabulous. And here's a question for you. You have been portraying Sojourner Truth for quite a few years now. I know you did a lot of research into her life and her legacy, and I think you probably know her better than any of us. So I wondered if you could tell us what you think Sojourner would say to us if she were here today on the eve of International Women's Day in 2021.
Well, I think because she was a speaker and a preacher, I feel very strongly she would encourage us to increase our faith in the system, and that the system can work for all people. I think that she would talk about, she would have a message of inclusion for every single person who is in America and who wants to practice their right to democracy. And I think that she would preach a message of marrying our action to our belief, because I think she would know that faith without works is dead. And she had this unshakable belief that people could be better with hard work, with diligence, and with their faith. I also think that she would hold white people in this system to the fire. I think she would preach forgiveness, but she would also continue her message of equality and getting everybody in a position, just like the speech says, where you can look at somebody who may not be where you're from and may be of a different socioeconomic level than you, but you treat them with respect, you treat them with honor, and you treat them with dignity because they're human just as you are. And I just think that she would continue to preach her message, that message, to the powers that be and to all of us.
Thank you, Shinnery. Here's to many more years of portraying Sojourner Truth with the Core Ensemble. Thank you. Wonderful performance. Now, we have one final feminist who is very special to someone here, and I'm very happy to introduce Mrs. Karen Olson.
Hello, I'm here representing my mother. Now, my mother is not famous. You will find her in no book. But she is a woman who has stood up in our local community. She was president of Planned Parenthood in Boca Raton and kept it open when people said they were going to come and protest and close it down. And she said she was not a confrontational person. She never wanted to do that, but she did. And she worked for local Gumbo Limbo Park down in Boca Raton because she cared about the environment. And the reason I wanted to bring her here today, and all I did was take off my collar because I look just like her, because she represents all of us. There is not a person watching who cannot stand up without a fancy name, showing in no history book, and stand up for the equal rights of everybody in our society, because a feminist is not just standing up for women. A feminist is standing up for women and men and children, for those who cannot speak and for those who can, for every racial group, for every language group, for every skin color, however you want to do it. I believe that that is what God calls us to do. And I hope that we all do it. Thank you, Margaret.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
That concludes our program. I want to thank everybody once again. Panelists, your comments were so helpful. Famous feminists, you are fantastic. I love you all. And the Wizard of Oz, who's behind the curtain, is Ted Brownstein, who was our host. And Ted was a founder of the Lake Worth Interfaith Network. He's a well-known and well-loved community leader and activist. So thank you, Ted, for your efforts. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Do something special to celebrate International Women's Day tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.